Good morning. This is A. Malhotra. Welcome again on my show, Gyan Scholars. Today you will get a chance to know how after the murder a dead woman gave birth to a child and how an uncle beheaded his nephew on a small matter and about such a lot of interesting court cases. Since today the guest of our show is a person who has been one of the senior most judges of Supreme Court. Moreover, he has shared all the odds of his life with sweet memories and experiences of his life with the readers through this book. This book of Mr. K.T.Thomas talks about all the important incidents and their cases which have been making headlines in the newspapers and news channels. Whether it is a case of Rajiv Gandhi's assassination or the attack on Parliament. And the title of the book is also amazing in itself. So what made Mr. Thomas to choose this title is also an interesting story.
Honeybees of Solomon is relating to a story which happened during the reign of King Solomon. Emperor Solomon was also a judge. During those days, the judge and the king were the same person. So there is a story, a fable related to him, because the Queen of Sheba visited the Jerusalem, and one day she wanted to test in what manner he is able to give very correct judgments. So she placed two bouquets at a distance. Both were identical. One was actually artificial, the other was natural. And King Solomon was sitting a little away on his throne. So the queen asked, "O king, can you judge which is real and which is not real?" Solomon could not identify between the two, but he noticed a honeybee hovering around the natural bouquet. He immediately said, this is natural, the other is bouquet. I related this story when I became a judge and wondered that if God will send such honeybees to me, I will also be able to distinguish between the truth and the untruth.
There is also an interesting anecdote behind Mr. Thomas joining the law. If he had not come in the legal profession, he would certainly have been a seasoned politician.
Choosing law as a career was never in my mind until I passed my degree course. When I was chairman of the college union, during my degree course, I was actively in politics, very actively. In fact, I had even become the sole representative from Kerala when the Youth Congress was started in India. I went to Delhi and had a conversation with Jawaharlal Nehru, then Prime Minister even. But suddenly the change happened because somebody said, after I passed law, after I passed my graduation BA, that if you are interested in continuing politics, it is better to be a lawyer. That is why I chose law.
He further elaborated about the journey as a judge from Trichur to Trivandrum court.
Trivandrum was my last. My first was in Trichur. Then I went to Calicut. From there I went to Koilon. Then lastly I went to Trivandrum. From Trivandrum I was elevated as a High Court judge. Everywhere I worked as a district and sessions judge. There were a large number of cases I dealt with both on the civil side and the criminal side.
He has shared the story of being an officiating Chief Justice of Kerala High Court.
Officiating Chief Justice happened in Kerala High Court. I should have been confirmed as a Chief Justice, but then the Chief Justice means I should have been transferred out of Kerala. So when I mentioned this fact to the then Chief Justice of India, Justice Ahmadi, he suggested that you continue as acting Chief Justice. It is all the same. Acting Chief Justice, officiating Chief Justice and confirmed Chief Justice, so the power is the same, salary is the same, everything is the same. But if you are confirmed, you should be prepared to go out of Kerala. I asked him, is there any possibility of my becoming a Chief Justice of another High Court? He said, if you are insisting, I'll do that. I never knew that he had in mind that I should go to the Supreme Court straight. That is how it happened.
Though Mr. K.T. Thomas had heard a number of important cases in Supreme Court, but a case related to the assassination of Rajiv Gandhi was very challenging.
Rajiv Gandhi assassination case was tried by a court, a trial court, uh, under a new provision, under a new act called the TADA, Terrorist and Disruptive Activities Prevention Act, TADA. Under that act, the trial court's judgment can be appealed directly to the Supreme Court. One need not go to the High Court. So in Rajiv Gandhi case, there were 26 accused, and the trial judge convicted all the 26 and sentenced all the 26 persons to capital sentence, death penalty. So when the matter reached the Supreme Court, a three-judge bench was constituted by the Chief Justice, and I was made the senior. I was the head of the bench. At the end of the matter, I wrote the main judgment, and we pronounced the judgment within 2 weeks of completion of the argument. It is a record in the Supreme Court, where we have reduced the conviction from 26 to 7 and acquitted all the remaining. And among the balance, 4 were sentenced to hanging, but out of the 4, I dissented regarding one accused, a lady called Nalini. I said she can be sentenced only for life imprisonment, not death penalty.
That's it for the day. This is A. Malhotra signing off. Tomorrow we will meet you again.